Okay, good morning. This is day 52 for doing these little videos about a day, the life of me as a schizophrenic human, Dominic, and describing some sanity amidst the world, turning things around and telling everyone that I'm crazy. I have a book that I'm writing on medium.com and I post chapters there. I post the book on my pinned post for Facebook, and it is on the bio section of my Threads account, also in the pinned post of my Threads and my uh, Facebook account. Is day 17 and day 45 of these little videos, and day 45 has the intro. You can just watch the intro and you get the little intro into here. And then in day 17, it explains why I choose to use schizophrenia instead of targeted individual. And yeah, so, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and end this thing at 1 minute 10 seconds today. Okay, for not the video, but the intro. Okay, so today I was gonna talk about Luka Doncic is a really good passer, and like I didn't realize how good of a passer he was when he played on Dallas, and I didn't watch them that much. He seemed to shoot the ball a lot more. But I guess with the Lakers, maybe we have a lot more scorers on the floor at all times, and it was working the other night when we were playing Utah, and Utah's not the best team, so but he was really passing really well, and I was like, man, he's a really good passer, and so like two good passers, and Austin Reeves is not a bad passer, so we have three guys that can create shots and pass the ball, and we have a finisher in Jackson Hayes, and we have kind of some pretty good shooters around surrounding. So this team is really highly constructed. We just need a center, and supposedly Mark Williams might be getting bought out. We just added Alex Lynn, and Alex Lynn a few years ago was not a bad looking player, but I don't know what he is now at 32 or 31 or whatever he is. So, all right, we'll see what the Lakers can do. Maybe Mark Williams gets bought out and we add him anyways. It's a total coup if we do that. All right, so yeah. All right, I was going to talk about Taylor Swift getting booed at the Super Bowl. And to me, if I was Taylor Swift and I got booed at the Super Bowl, I would be giving the bird back to people. And, all these, I mean, if you're going to the Super Bowl, all these people booing her, maybe they're Philadelphia fans and it's not that big a deal, and maybe they're just like bullying a liberal woman because she's blonde and she doesn't support Trump. Like you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you lady or something. And I thought Trump was pretty despicable the way he shared the video of her getting booed. Like that's not what you do as a president. That's what you do as a dictator. A dictator will make fun of a citizen that speaks politically against them. And so, she speaks politically, and this is not. I think Trump maybe he thinks it's like the billionaires club, like I'm the big daddy billionaire, and I'm gonna show you, you little comeuppance or something, and so. Anyways, if I was at a Super Bowl and people were booing me like that, a crowd, I would give them the bird back, and I would flip them off, and that would be that. All right, speaking of rather terrible, disgusting things, it's pretty disgusting that we have a country where we want everyone to live in fear all the time. And, it goes across the aisle a little bit here. That right now, who's the people in charge are the Trump people and like the Nazi muffs. And so the Nazis definitely want people to live in fear. You don't do a Nazi salute from the podium unless you are trying to instill fear in people. And I'm going to read something that I wrote out the other day about this. And I said, it is disgusting how people in this country want other people to live in fear. from bio war, like COVID, or like, and just in general, like bio warfare agents in the world creating biological warfare, to organized crime. Like you have neighborhoods where you have organized criminal networks, and they want people to live in fear, to not, or even with the organized crime of microwave weapons or whatever, to Nazis like Trump and Musk. Okay, so like Trump and Musk, like Nazis, to ICE. ICE wants people to live in fear, that people are afraid to leave their house right now because they'll be deported and sent back to a terrible situation that they come from in their country, to gang stalking. Okay, like people gang stalking people, like causing car accidents, doing all kinds of crazy things, smashing windows. I've experienced those kind of things. To microwave weapons, which I said before, with organized crime, like in Russia, or like people in this country that are working for Russia or something like that. To manipulated geophysical warfare. Okay, so like manipulated, like causing earthquakes or tsunamis or whatever crazy thing, like either weather warfare or whatever, like the fires and stuff like that. That there was pyros going out with human hand, or this geophysical warfare. To bombs, so like we're going around this country bombing people all over the place and doing these terrible things, and it's like a whole lot is crazy, and it's the whole impetus of it is to instill fear into people, and make people be afraid of other people. And it's really disgusting that people want to do that to other human beings. Like, that is, it's going to lead to the demise of humanity. And it's a very huge culture in America. Even you think the martial artists, people are learning, like, they're showing these videos of people getting in fights, and like fear the guy that's going to punch you in the face and stuff. And uh I don't, it's, everything is about fear. Everything is about fear. Guns. Have the gun in your house so you can shoot the guy that comes to get you and stuff. And then everyone's a fear for the other guy and stuff. And so it's yeah. So this is really disgusting that we live in fear from each other, and that we are trying to inflict fear on other people all the time. And so I just find the whole fear-based society and culture in this country disgusting. Okay, in my Katie Ledecky book, she was describing, basically at the end of the book, and she's giving an emotional appeal to how she feels really moved emotionally, that she can move people emotionally, and like people care so much about her swimming, like when she sees fans in the stands, or just like people in general express that she means a lot to them. And so she was describing all these incidents of like when she finishes a race, how she has emotions, because it's like she's like a discarding of all that was going into the race or whatever. And she has an emotional buildup, and she often she cries in the pool after an event. She's done it like dozens of times or something. And uh, she said only a dozen times that she's cried in the pool. I think she was being a little facetious. And it made me cry reading that, all the how she would cry. So I was moved by it. She also said she's an empathetic person, so when somebody else cries, she's moved. When she sees somebody experience an emotion, she experiences the emotion and stuff. And so I was actually having that moment in reading the book or whatever. So I was having a little empathetic access of empathy uh, connection there. And so in in reading that, I forget what I was gonna say now, but uh, yeah. So I'm coming to the end of the book. I'm almost crying that the book's gonna end, but it's a good book, and I highly recommend it, because she's a very intelligent and grounded little champion. Okay. All right. So schizophrenia. It's Yesterday I shared the video of me reading out of this book here. War at the Speed of Light, page 96. It talks about the Sierra Nevada Corporation and Medusa weaponry that's held by various entities in the U.S. government that can produce weapons, voices in people's heads. And so, schizophrenia itself, it's like the existence of schizophrenia shows you that we have an anti intellectual society. And the fact that I'm sitting here, it's very disheartening that I'm sitting here. I have to be very honest. And it's very disheartening to sit here as a human being who's very sane and intelligent. And I express sane thoughts. It's very obvious that I'm very sane. And then I say something like, "Oh, here's a book written by somebody in the military industrial complex. He's a well-renowned person, and he describes a weapon system that can produce voices in their head." And yet I'm still sitting here and it's like considered to be schizophrenic. And like psychiatry, the fact that it doesn't question it, it's like it's very disheartening. It's like it's totally schizophrenia itself is totally anti-intellectual. But the reason why I describe myself as schizophrenic is because I think that it should be examined as a society once you start seeing like there are ways to produce these effects in human beings, these symptoms that people describe through schizophrenia, and we should be questioning, you know, what on what level is society organized to produce these effects in other human beings, and so the fact that we don't question that it's the media, the government, the mental health institutions, it's all anti-intellectual. And even talking about mental health and stuff, they come up with all these ways, and they describe people who respond to the social environment in maybe not so good ways or something, or off kilter ways or whatever. They get depressed or something. It affects them, and they come up with these mental illness like you are ill. Not so. What about the social ills? And so schizophrenia is a social ill, and I am emitting symptoms of a social ill, and that is that a weapon system is producing the voices in my head. So it's like it's totally anti-intellectual to express sanity and express here is a concrete example of how this can be produced by a weapon, and then it falls on deaf ears, and it's like a total anti-intellectual. And you see we're in a very anti-intellectual thing right now with like Trump and Musk, and they are attacking liberals and intellectuals in this country at the universities, at USAID, at Department of Education, and it's it's kind of creepy and scary, and yeah. So, all right, in my David A. Hughes book, which is this book, the COVID-19 and psychological operations and war for technocracy, he describes Joe Biden in there passing a law, which I already knew about, in the 1990s after the Oklahoma City bombing, in which he suspended posse comitatus, which meant that the military could not arrest people inside the United States. And the war on terror, the global war on terror, David H. Hughes points out, created a global fascist structure to for the for the upper classes to enact a transnational crackdown on lower classes around the world. Is basically a global fascist effort. And he claims that only a global revolution can combat that effort. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure where I fall on that. Do I think that we need to elevate people around the world and have a different kind of system that meets human needs around the world and is not based in rich people like billionaires, the thousands or so of billionaires dominating the world economy? Yeah. So I guess I support the world revolution, but uh, I don't know what it's really gonna entail. So I gotta stop here. But goodbye.